The arena could be the biggest thing to ever happen to Escape from Tarkov, even bigger than Streets of Tarkov or Open World potentially. And I know that sounds crazy, and a lot of people don't even know what the arena is. We're going to dive into all that in this video. If you like the video, think about dropping a like or comment or subscribing to the channel for more content like this. I stream Escape from Tarkov almost every single day on Twitch. My link is down below. I'd love to have you stop by and say hey. And I'd love to thank the sponsor for this video, Mackie, but we'll get more on that in a little bit. With all that out of the way though, let's go ahead and dive right in. So we don't really have any sexy B-roll or any sort of visuals of the arena or what the arena could look like. So instead of just looking at my face for this entire kind of talking head style video, I'm just going to show some of the trailers and some of the visuals that Battlestate Games have been putting out recently. So we have to start off with what is the arena and how it's linked to Escape from Tarkov. We don't have a whole lot of concrete information about exactly what the arena is going to be. Although over the past few years, they've talked a lot about like vision and ideas and a lot of stuff that they'd like to implement. But the TLDR of what the arena is that it's a separate game linked to Escape from Tarkov that is basically taking everything you love about Escape from Tarkov, all the gear, all the loadouts, all the modularity of the weapons and the armors and the movement and the combat, and then dropping that into a much more arena style shooter with potentially game modes. It's much more PvP focused. You're taking out a lot of the slower pace, the looting or the hideout or the inventory, and trying to place it into a much more quick and fast paced PvP system. Now, like we said, how we execute on this and all the details are a little bit fuzzy because it's just been a lot of ideas being thrown out and vision over the past few years. So what I tried to do was go back several years and compile all the information that has been talked about on podcasts and forum posts about the arena. I may have missed something. Some of the dates here might be a little wrong, but I tried my best to get everything. Now, you might be surprised to know that this isn't a response to the game as it stands right now. It's not a response to the Chads playing super quickly. They've been talking about this for a really long time. There was a forum post in June of 2020 by Tobias, who's one of the community managers, called The Vision of Escape from Tarkov, where he kind of tried to lay out everything. And even then, he talked about the arena mode and calling back saying during the holiday events, even prior to this forum post, details of an arena mode were announced, and it was presented as a separate project linked to Escape from Tarkov. Squads of operatives with preset loadouts will enter a location and try and take each other out. This game mode will be PvP focused with separate servers and a separate client. More information will be presented in the future. Now, even in the comments below, he was saying, like, I may not have got all that information right. They've been talking about it. In the comments, he was saying that they've been talking about it for years and that we don't have a whole lot of details. So it's been in the works for a very, very long time. And that kind of gives you a lot of the information that we didn't even really realize for years after that was all in here. It's going to be a separate game mode with separate servers and a separate client, somehow linked to the game, much more PvP focused. So really early on, we kind of get a super broad idea of what it's going to be. Later that year, in August of 2020, there was a podcast and they were talking about how it's kind of like this gladiator arena that was made in Tarkov, like the lore behind it. They talked about how it could be potentially just smaller versions of the maps that we have. And they even talked about the potential of watching arena fights from your hideout, which was pretty cool. Then we moved to 2021, and in January, we got confirmation that it is going to be two separate games and that the games would be linked, but we're not exactly sure how they're going to be linked. Then later that year, in March of 2021, we got a kind of a big info dump, one of the biggest ones we'd ever gotten. And they talked about how arena could look. Once again, this is all up in the air, but they talked about how you can lose your gear in the arena, but it might not mean that much because it's not so much loot focused. You're not necessarily going to be killing somebody and then diving on their body for the loot. It's going to be super fast paced and you're going to be trying to kill people and survive. Somehow you will be able to use your main Tarkov gear potentially, maybe risking that. You're using your gear from your account if you want to use better gear. Insurance is going to be involved somehow. They don't really know how that's going to work. They've talked about adding an arena specific currency. Now this kind of makes sense to me because there's a lot of gear in Escape from Tarkov, and if all of that gear was always available for the arena, everybody would always just choose the few, meta loadouts. But if there are preset loadouts that everybody can get for free, and then as you do well, you can get this currency, you can use that currency to potentially buy some of the other gear you want. That allows there to be variety in the arena, and that's pretty cool. They've talked about a ranking system, so ranked matches, once again, not a whole lot of information, but that's cool. There's potentially some stuff hidden behind that, maybe like certain cosmetics or certain loadouts that you can get once you reach a certain rank. They specifically said they want it to be accommodating to casual players. That once again leads me to believe that there will be some sort of preset loadouts that are free, that you'll always be able to just hop into the game, pick a loadout, and then play in the arena. I want to take a quick minute to thank the sponsor for this video, and that is Mackie, who is showing off their new Mcaster Live. Now, audio is confusing and very complicated, and the Mcaster Live aims to bring really good sound really simply. It was engineered with mobile streaming in mind. If you want to stream from your phone, but you don't like the audio coming from your phone, you can plug in the Mcaster Live and immediately have so much more flexibility around with the audio. If you're running a podcast, or even if you're a streamer at home and wanting to set up your stream, the Mcaster Live brings simplicity and a lot of flexibility to audio. It's got 3 different channels, and with those 3 channels and all of that input, there's a ton of flexibility. You can go out to headphones or out to speakers or both. And there's a lot of flexibility on the sound. There's a suite of contour effects, which is like all sorts of different, basically EQs. You can select them and then fade them into channel 1 or 2 specifically, however you like it. Additionally, there's a suite of stream effects, which is all sort of like voice changers, like echo, demon voice, robot, all that kind of stuff. You can select that and then also fade that into channels 1 or 2 independently. All of that goes out to a stereo mix, and then you are ready to go. Once again, this thing is awesome for anything portable podcasting, streaming on the go. This whole thing could be powered via a USB battery pack, so you can just throw that in your backpack and be ready to go, or you can power it via the wall, and this is perfect to get your stream up and running at home. If you want more information, or if you want to pick one of these up, you can use the link down below, and Mackie is actually giving one of these away to our community as well. So there's a giveaway link down below. You have a few days to enter, and yes, this entire ad was recorded using the Mcaster Live. This thing is awesome. Huge thank you to Mackie for sponsoring this video. Now back to the arena. They've talked about how they want to do lots of game modes, and in the past they have called out specific ones from other games that you know, like Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, Search and Destroy, something like that. We don't know if that's still the plan. We don't know if they're going to create their own game modes in their own environments, or if they're just going to use that kind of as inspiration. What he did say was no respawns. They still want to keep the concept of your life matters. When you die in the arena. So whatever it is, whether it's Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, or something that they make, when you die, you're dead. And they might then move to a more round-based system so that, you know, an entire match isn't over immediately, but you die, you have to wait for that round to be over, and then everybody queues in again, and you can win the game by winning multiple rounds. Not sure there, but I like that it's still focused on prioritizing survival and prioritizing smart movement. In those game modes, they've also talked about how there's going to be different player counts. You can do 1v1s, 3v3s, 5v5s, really quick matches. That could be insanely cool for, you know, 1v1ing friends or community members or something like that. They've talked about a spectator mode. I think, and I think they've mentioned this before, but I think the spectator mode in the arena is basically the groundwork for, if all of that works well, then maybe eventually we'll get some sort of way to watch raids back in Escape from Tarkov once that raid is over. I feel like they've mentioned that before, but we don't really know there. The other big bomb that we got in March of 2021 was that the arena will cost extra money. It will be a separate game, and you will have to purchase this game. You don't have to have Tarkov if you have the arena. You don't have to have arena if you have Tarkov, but there will be 2 games and they will be linked somehow. And the reason arena will be extra money is because they really want to build a super modern back end for this game. They want to build the back end from the ground up for arena. They've talked about 120 tick rate servers and stuff like that. They really want to do it right if they're going to do it, which makes sense. Now, later in the year, in November of 2021, we did get confirmation, somebody asked specifically, that the Edge of Darkness version of the game will include the arena. So if you have EOD, you won't have to purchase it, but if you have any other edition, you will have to purchase arena. And then we didn't really hear too much. They had talked about wanting arena to be out last year. That didn't happen. And then very recently, just a few weeks ago, in the most recent podcast, Nikita was talking about the arena again, which nobody really expected him to. He talked about that they're done with the design phase and they're working on a few maps. It sounds to me like what they really want here is kind of a vertical slice, all of the elements of the arena in, with maybe only 1 or 2 game modes and 1 or 2 maps, but then that allows them to test everything and how all of it works, and then they expand with more maps and game modes, as opposed to Tarkov, which is more like a gradual thing. We get like tier 0 version of things that get iterated on and iterated on. So we'll see. He also surprisingly said that they wanted it playable sometime soon. I don't know if that means on like the ETS, the early test servers, or in the hands of the players, but he said again that they're attempting to actually release the arena this year in 2022. So that most recent news was definitely surprising. The fact that he was talking about it unprompted, that they were just kind of talking about the arena, kind of leads me to believe that maybe it is sooner than we think. So that is all the information I can find on what the arena is. Obviously, all of that is subject to change, but it's definitely very exciting. There are definitely some concerns with the arena, which I'll get to some of the ones that I hear a lot. And I also want to talk about why I think it's going to be the best thing for the game. So why make the arena to begin with? Well, they want to. Once again, this isn't a response to how people are playing the game right now. It's something that they have talked about and they've thought about and they've even had lore about for several years. They're the ones that had the idea of like, man, this game Tarkov is really cool and all the stuff we're building here seems like it would work well in a more fast-paced PvP environment. So they wanted to flesh that out. And as the game has developed, it has become more and more clear to me, at least, and to a lot of the players, that they were right, that a lot of people want this game, Tarkov, all this gear, all the ammo, all this cool stuff, and they want this in a super fast-paced PvP-focused environment. Escape from Tarkov is a survival game at its core, and they've made it very clear that Tarkov will get slower and more difficult. Focusing on making the arena could be an amazing way to make the most amount of players happy and make a lot of players happy to play both games. Assuming the arena comes out and it's everything that they want it to be, it gives the PvP focused people more to do at the end of a wipe or at the end of a season, potentially after the game goes 1.0. It allows the main game to kind of slow down and be more true to the vision. Maybe a lot less players will be grinding to billions or hundreds and hundreds of millions of rubles because they don't have anything else to do in the survival aspect of it. They can then migrate over and play the arena and do all sorts of stuff like that. A huge thing for the arena is that it potentially helps new players learn the game. Once again, if there's always a way for you to drop into the game with a preset, with a loadout, and play the game non-stop and actually play PvP, this could be one of the absolute best ways for newer players to the game to actually learn the movement mechanics, learn the gear, and learn how to PvP. There's tons of really cool ways to link these games together as well. They've alluded to it a little bit with allowing yourself to maybe use gear that you have on your character. Maybe once you get to a certain rank in the arena, you unlock a cosmetic that you can purchase in Escape from Tarkov that lets players know. There's a lot of really cool ways they could do that, and bouncing between these games could be really cool and engaging for the players. I also think that one of the most community requested things, which is offline mode with friends, has the best chance of showing up in the arena. They're kind of rebuilding this back end and potentially being able to do custom matches where you just hop in with a friend. It's not a ranked match. It's not even really online. There's nobody else. That actually might be where this shows up, and then potentially if they kind of learn from that, then they can migrate that over to Escape from Tarkov. They haven't really talked about that, but I just have a suspicion that this would be the easier place for that to happen. So I think, once again, if this is executed right, this could be a huge win-win. It makes me think of something like Destiny. I loved the original Destiny. I thought it was so fun. And you think you've got these two game modes in it. You have the PvP only, the Crucible, where there's all those different game modes. And then you had the much more looter shooter aspect of it, going out and doing dungeons and fighting bosses and stuff like that. And those games worked so well together. There were cosmetics or there were weapons you could buy. Weapons you could buy from the Crucible traders that then you could take out into the open world. There was a lot of links between those. Obviously, it was the same game. There was a lot of links between those, but I knew people that never played the Crucible. I knew people that only played the Crucible, and then there were tons of people that played both. And I think the potential there for Escape from Tarkov would be huge. One of the biggest concerns that people bring up when talking about that is splitting the player base. Well, what if there's not enough people in online raids because everybody's playing arena, or what if the arena games are empty because everybody's playing Escape from Tarkov, which is very understandable. And I think a few years ago, when there were only a few thousand people playing Escape from Tarkov, that was a legitimate concern. But now that around wipe times we have several 100,000 people playing the game, if the arena is executed well and if Tarkov is executed well, I believe that both of those game modes would grow the player base. We know that there are tons of huge content creators, Summit, Dr. Disrespect, Shroud, all these guys love to pick up Escape from Tarkov, but they always end up leaving because of the current state that it's in. This could actually grow the game and add players to the player base, so I don't think that's a huge concern anymore. But at the end of the day, that's the arena. That's what it's kind of supposed to be. We may be able to get our hands on it soon or play it this year. And I think it could be the biggest thing to happen to Escape from Tarkov because it adds more variety, more player control over the experience. You could have a really bad day in Tarkov, so you just go kind of blow off some steam in the arena. You can train and practice in the arena and get better at Escape from Tarkov. You could never touch the arena or never touch Tarkov. And I think that that builds a strong base and a strong community of people enjoying this game in all the different ways that we have it. That's what I think. I'd love to hear what you think about the arena. Are you excited, or do you think it's going to be the worst thing to ever happen to Tarkov? Let me know know down in the comments below. Also, if you have any thoughts, like we said, I stream Escape from Tarkov live all the time. My Twitch channel is down below. If you liked this video, if you learned something, please think about dropping a like or commenting down below, or subscribing to the channel if you want more content like this. And if you're looking for people to play Tarkov with, our Discord server is an awesome place to be. That link is down below as well. Thank you again for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.